Hello and peace be to you. Welcome to another demo on SQL date concepts and functions. Today I'm going to focus on date truncate function, which is a function to extract a timestamp or interval and then truncate it to a specific level of precision. In other words, the function trims the unnecessary values from the date and time and returns a result with specific precision. So if we were to look at this date right here, it's a date and timestamp that has the year, it has the hour, minute, and seconds, milliseconds, and then also have the time zone. So if you were to truncate, uh, keep one date part and then truncate everything else with a specific precision, then we would use date truncate. Date truncate is very similar to date part, except that with the date truncate function, we take a date part like let's say year, month, hour, day, etc., and a timestamp as parameter. The date truncate function truncates the timestamp according to the specified date part and returns the truncated part with a specific precision level. So let's look at the syntax of date truncate. The way it works is we're going to start the function with the select statement as always, and then we're going to pass our date trunc function name, and then we're going to pass our first argument. So the first argument is going to be based on which uh, date part type are you looking for to extract from this date. So, for example, some of the accepted date part or date types or that could be past year or year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, milliseconds, week, decade, century, millennium. You see that they're different from a date part in a lot of in some of the specifications with the date part types, which I'm going to explain in a second. So the first argument is going to be the date part type, with like what kind of date part are we trying to maintain here, right? So in this case, we're going to say, let's say we're going to start with the year now here as part of the example and say keep the year, right? And then I want you to keep the year, and then the field that I want you to perform this on is going to be, for example, let's say, let me run this table, let's say program type, right? So since we're dealing with the year, let's just do program date here. So we're going to pass the second argument as the interval or the timestamp or date stamp value that needs to be truncated. So we're going to maintain the year as a date part, and then we're going to truncate the rest of everything else from the program date column, right? And once we do that, we're going to pass and we're going to call in the table name, which is going to be student table one, right? So once we do this, you're going to see that from the program date where we have year, 4 digits for the year, 2 digits for the month, and 2 digits for the day. We're going to see that the date is now everything's going to be reset to their pretty much to reset to their initiated value. Everything goes back to zero except for the year. So the year is maintained. Everything else is now truncated. So in other words, if you pass any of the values mentioned above to the truncate function, then the timestamp will be rounded off the whole value. For instance, if you pass month as an argument to a date truncate function, then all of the values that come after the month will be reset to the initial values, just like all of the values here after the year are reset to their initial values. So that was for the year. Let's do another one for the month, right? You're going to see that this time we're going to keep the month, and then everything else will be reset to their initial values. Let's go ahead and run this, and there you go. We maintain the month. Everything else is now reset to the initial values. Everything goes zero, and then this goes reset to the first of the month, and it's reset to the year. Same thing with the day. You're going to see that once we truncate everything else but the day, you're going to see that The day will be intact. Everything else is going to reset. And then same thing for the minute. Let's go ahead and do another one for the minute. Uh, you're going to see that that we maintain the minute and everything else now reset the initial values. Seconds as well. Let me do one for the second. Uh, I think it's better if I perform it on a now because again, this what I have here on the table, the date details that the date data that I have on the table is only year, month, and day. So then select now is going to give us a variety of date data that we can use here for the example. So let's say for the minute, we already did the minute list for the seconds. Let's let's change that to the now. So they truncate, and then we all have to do is just change this to now. So that would be now, and then open close parentheses. We don't have to specify call in any table argument here. Just run this, and you're going to see that now we maintained the minute. Everything else is now reset to the initial value. So 59 is there. Let me see the minute to now. They truncate. Let me see if we can run it here. Yep, and then let's run it here. Yep. So oh, seconds is what I was trying to do. My bad. That's why I was wondering what's happening. There you go. So the second is now I think it's supposed to be second with no S. Let's see. Ah, there you go. So the second is now maintained. Everything else is now truncated to the initial values. And then let's go do with the week. And then you're going to see that we're going to maintain the week, and everything else will be reset to their initial values. There you go. So we maintained so the 11/20 will be the first of the week, and everything else now reset their initial values. So let's now do for the decade, and that's you're going to see that for the decade. Actually, for the decade, let me pass a different argument because uh, it's better because we already in 2023. Let's just change to a different date just for the sake of more clarity. So decade, and then here let's just put a different argument, timestamp. Maybe just put 1996, right? And then put 0508, maybe 08, and then maybe I don't know, 04, uh, 12, 17. Okay, very good. Let me just close the parentheses. You're going to see that we're going to get the decade, right? We got the decade. Everything else is truncated, reset to the initial values. So as you can see, for 1996, the beginning of the decade is 1990. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is a century. I think this will be a good example to use for the century as well. So you just put century here for the date part argument, and then you're going to see that we're going to move to 1901, the beginning of the century, because we set to the beginning of the century. And then millennium, that's an interesting one, where we're going to move 1,000 years back, 996 years back when we do for the millennium. And when we run it, there you go. We're now back to 1001. So again, what's going to happen is when you pass a specific date part as an argument to date truncate function, then all the values that comes after that date part argument that you pass will be reset to the initial values, which you just saw in this case for all of these date part parameters that we passed. Uh, uh, I think this is it. I think I covered everything else. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.